All right, we talked about how to market your app using that same app that you're promoting, but now let's talk about how to market your app using your other apps. What? That's crazy. No, it's not. It's actually easy and quite effective. There are also two main ways of doing this. The first one has to do again with using consumables. We keep coming back to consumables because if your user is engaged and invested in your app, paying with consumables is like paying them money out of their own pocket, which can be a great thing, but also, as we talked before, you have to be very careful about how much you give. You don't want to end up losing. But anyway, what you can do is that on every one of your apps, in the menu where users can purchase more consumables, you can give them the options to get points or coins if they download one of your other apps. You could give them 1, 2, or 3, or 5 options. The trick here is that you have to be sure of two things. One is to be sure they downloaded the app, not just click the link. Your developers should be able to figure this out. You can have apps talk to each other, and there are SDKs that make it relatively easy to check this. The second one is that you need to be sure that the apps you are promoting and want the user to download will be appealing to them. You know your target audience, so you should know which of your other apps will be appealing to them. It is useless if you pay the user to download the app if he or she is just going to delete it straight away because they didn't like it. Which is why I would recommend not giving too many consumables on this. You want them to download your app because they're interested on it, not because they are getting paid to do it. You could even forget about the consumables and just put links to your other apps users may be interested in. You could do it in the same menu or have a separate one where you show all of your other apps. Honestly, I have seen small increases in downloads for the apps being advertised like this, but also a small drop in revenue for the app advertising them when I pay with consumables. So it's hard to measure if giving consumable actually increases overall profit. Again, each target audience is different and it depends on how you sell it to your users and also what your objective is. Maybe you just want to have as many of your apps in as many phones as possible rather than maximizing short-term profit. So, you will have to play around with it. A final word of advice on this is that if you decide to use consumables, make sure you deactivate the option of getting consumables after they download the app and stays deactivated forever. Trust me, I lost a fair bit of money until I realized that users could download one of my apps, get the consumables, delete the downloaded app, and then re-download it again to get more consumables. It's not one of my brightest moments, I gotta admit. So, just make sure it doesn't happen to you either. The second way to advertise your apps is with pop-up ads, specifically of your other apps. What do I mean? Well, you can have a special custom-made pop-up ad in all of your apps. It could maybe be the first pop-up that pops up if you have two, with some sort of API where you can configure it remotely so that you can put anything on it. Just ask your programmer how he would go about doing this. This way, when you upload a new app, you can make an ad and just have it show in all of your other apps. Does that make sense? Like, for example, let's say you upload your new app, the Stickman Runner or Ninja Runner. Any user that has any of your other apps will see a pop-up saying, "Come try our new app, Ninja Runner," when they open their respective apps. If they click on it, they are redirected to the App Store or Google Play so they can download it. Make a nice graphic of your new app for the ad. This is a really great way to advertise to your niche and target audience for free. I honestly am really surprised that almost no one is doing it. It is a bit difficult since you will most likely need a server, but if you decide to make a website, you can just use the same one. We'll talk about websites a little bit in the next section, but just talk to your programmer and figure out what you need in order to do this. Trust me, it's really helpful and it will most likely generate more money in the long run than just having a random pop-up ad will.